Yo, what's going on, guys? Cody here. In today's video, we're going to be updating the Ranger build. There's been some items that has been buffed and nerfed, so it's kind of about time that we update the Ranger build. So as far as the Rangers go, the ones that this build is going to cover, it's going to be Drongo, Revenant, Murdoch, Twin Blast, and Sparrow. Now notice I didn't say Wraith. Wraith is classified as a Ranger in here, but really he's played as a caster. His only damaging ability is a magical damage, so everyone's usually playing him going to be in the mid and the caster role, so these builds aren't really going to apply to him. Now the one person that's going to be unique is going to be Revenant. The attack speed doesn't benefit him like it does with other Rangers. It's only going to reduce that reloading speed. It's not going to allow you to attack more often. It's not going to allow you to attack faster. It's just going to reduce that reloading speed. With Revenant, we're going to start off with 2 health potions and 2 of the Vishanti handguns. The first item we're going to build into is going to be Secret Assassination Technique. This is a really cheap item. It's 2,400 gold. It's going to give you 50 power, 15 flat pin, the movement speed, and then when you upon getting a kill, you're going to increase your movement speed by 30%, and you're going to enter stealth for 5 seconds. This is a really good item for Rev. He doesn't need attack speed. That flat pin is going to be really nice for him. That power is going to be great. You want a lot of power, pin, and crit for Rev. So that power is going to be really nice. And it's super cheap. 2,400 gold is really cheap. One of the cheapest items in the power department for this amount of power as well. It's a really good item to go into first. After that, we're going to go into Dakima Cannon. Another cheap item, 2,400 gold. It's going to be 40 power, 40% physical defense nullification. Early game, this isn't really that big of a deal. When it comes to late game, this will be impactful. But early game, it's not really that important. It's still going to help, but not as much. But the item is just really cheap, and so you want to get this item. 10% cooldown, and then the passive. Whenever you hit somebody with your ability, you're going to slow them for 30%, so you can stay locked onto them whenever you do use abilities and you're in that 1v1 scenario. The next item we're going to go into is going to be Holy Relic. Now we're going to start building into our crit. We're going to get 50 power, 20% crit, 15% lifesteal. And then whenever you get below a certain threshold, you're going to remove all your debuffs. You're going to increase your movement speed, and you become CC immune whenever you get below a threshold to help you survive. So we're going to start building into our crit with Revenant. Again, you have 4 shots. That last shot that you do with Revenant is going to do increased physical power. So that last shot you have, you want to make sure it's a crit. So we're going to start building into our crit now. Next is going to be Frendero's Flask. This is going to be 60 power, 20% more crit rate, and then on the basic attack, you're going to increase your crit by 10%. So this is going to be really great, allowing you to stack up that crit. That way your last shot is guaranteed going to be a critical hit. And then after that, we're going to finish off our crit with Treasure Sword of Kingdom. 70 power, 20% crit rate. The passive, whenever your crit rate is over 40%, which it will be, it should be guaranteed. Whenever it's over 40%, you're going to increase your damage by 25%. So with this, we have 20, 40, 60% crit rate. With the passive and Frendero's Flask, it should be up to 70, 80%. So your last shot should have like a 70, 80% chance, maybe even 90% chance to guarantee get a critical hit. So that'll be, massive damage. So these are going to be our 5 items. Now from here, what I like to go into is going to be Superior Immunity Booster. It's going to give you 50 power, which is great, 50 more power. The flat pin, not really that important at this stage of the game. 300 health is nice. The really main thing here is going to be that shield. Whenever you come late game, you're going to be the target. You don't have a good escape unless you ult somebody as Rev. So this shield is going to allow you to block any kind of single attack. Most of the time, you're going to get hit with the CC first. That way they can follow up with you. So this should negate that CC. So this is a really huge item for me. I like to go this very last on Rev. Now after all that is done, you have your full build. It's very late game. The item that we're going to go to is going to be Chainsaw. We're going to sell Dakima Cannon or Chainsaw. You're going to get more power. You're going to get the same amount of nullified defense, but the passive, in my opinion, is going to be a little bit better. You're going to do more damage to them the higher the health that they have. So this is going to allow you to shred a lot more with this item. So late game, we'll sell Dakima Cannon, and we'll get Chainsaw next. This is going to be your build. Notice there's not any attack speed in this kit. You don't really need attack speed as Rev. You have 4 shots. Your last shot is going to be a massive damage. So to make sure you hit all those abilities, all those autos. All right, now going to the other Rangers, Sparrow, Murdoch, Drongo, Twin Blast. These heroes, we're going to be prioritizing attack speed, power, crit rate, and defense nullification. So starting off, what I like to build, it depends on who I have on my team, who's my support is. If I have a healer like Mako, like Narbash, then I can be a little bit more aggressive. So I'll go with 1 health potion, 1 Vishanti handgun, and then 1 speed booster. This will give me a little bit more to start my build a little bit sooner. So I'll go into this. Now, if the enemy team has a lot of poke and I don't have a healer on my team, if we don't have that healing and they have a lot of poke on their team, then I'm going to be a little bit more safer in lane. I'm going to get one rechargeable health potion, the health potions, and then the Vishanti handgun. So I can have a little bit more sustain in lane. The first item we're going to go into is going to be the lifesteal. We're going to get 12 power, some lifesteal just to help you stay in lane, that we can farm a lot more often. You don't have to back as much, so you can keep farming. The first item we're going to go to is Spirit's Armor. This item is just really, really great. It's 2,600 gold. You get 40 power, 30% attack speed, 2 stats you really want. You're going to get some tenacity, which is a bonus. The 4% movement speed is really good. The main thing about this item is that passive. You're going to grant acceleration for 1 second when a basic attack deals damage to an enemy. The hero becomes immune to the basic attack movement penalty. So whenever you're getting dove by somebody, whether it being the jungler or the frontliner or the tank, this is going to allow you to peel for yourself. So rather staying in melee range with that person, it's going to allow you to stay back, hit your autos, and keep moving backwards while they're trying to chase you. So you can get a little bit more damage off of them and stay away from their melee range. So this is a really great item to have. Next item we're going to go into Merchant Story Box. This is going to be 40 power, 20% attack speed. Now, at this stage of the game, we're going to start building into our shred. I just noticed I have this backwards. We're going to start building into our shred. So at this stage, they're going to have the enemy team, the tanks will have a lot of health, a lot of defense. So you want to start building into this. Story Box is going to allow you to do more damage to them equal to their current health. So the more health they have, the more damage you'll do with this. Story Box will be your second item that you're going to back and buy. Third item is going to be Chainsaw. So we're going to get 50 power, 40% nullified defense, and then the passive, you're going to deal more bonus damage the more health that they have to a certain cap. So this is really, these 3 items are really great to start off. It's super easy for the tanks and the warrior jungles and the tank jungles to build physical defense. Their items are really easy to build. They get a lot of health. They get a lot of physical defense. These are your 3 core that you want to rush into. If you're not rushing into these items really early on, you're going to be doing very minimum damage. It's going to be, the enemy tanks will just run all over everybody. You need to be the one to help shred them down. So these are your 3 musts that you have to build. Now after that, we're going to start building into our crit. We're going to start increasing our physical damage with crit. The next item we're going to go to is going to be Holy Relic. 50 power, 20% crit rate, 15% lifesteal. When you get below a certain threshold, you're going to remove all your debuffs, and you're going to get movement speed and crowd control immunity for 3 seconds. So we already have our lifesteal, so this will build into it, so it'll be a little bit cheaper. But this is going to be your next item you're going to build into. After that, we're going to build into our Treasured Sword of Kingdom. This is going to be 70 power, 20 crit rate, and then on the passive, whenever you're over 40 crit, you're going to get 25% more crit damage. So these 2 items are going to give you that 40% crit. We'll start building into, try to get as much damage as we can. Now the very last item we're going to build into is going to be Witch's Vial. So if the tanks are, late game, they have a lot of tankiness, they have a lot of health. Witch's Vial is going to give you some power, some more attack speed, more crit, so you can crit more often, more damage. And then the passive, whenever you crit, you're going to decrease the physical defense nullification by 20, and you're going to get attack speed for 50%. So whenever you basic attack, this item essentially is going to give you 40 power, 35 attack speed, 20 crit rate, and 20% nullification on this item. So super statted. You're going to be critting pretty much all the time with these 3 crit items. So this is really good late game whenever the defense is super tanky. This is going to be your standard build that you'll probably be running a lot of the times whenever there's tanks. If there's not any tanks on the enemy team, then we're going to be going into a more damaging build. So this build is going to be slightly different. We have our lifesteal, same thing. We're going to go into Spirit's Armor, still a great item. Next, we're going to go into Fanatic's Dessert. You're going to get 30 power. You're going to start building into crit a lot early on. You're going to get attack speed, and then you're going to get a shield that absorbs some damage. When there's a lot of damage on the enemy team, this is going to help you stay alive a little bit more. So we're going to get this item. We're going to build into another crit item, 50 power, the Holy Relic, 50 power, more crit, more lifesteal, same passive, you get that immunity. Then we're going to build into our Treasure Sword of Kingdom right away. That way our basic attacks can just hit really hard. With all these crits, the lifesteal, we're going to be hitting super hard at this stage of the game. Again, if the enemy team is squishy, you want to build into your crit really, really quickly. Then we're going to finish it off with a Merchant Story Box. Even though they don't have a lot of health, this is still really good. At this stage of the game, base stats on enemies are going to have them increase health. So this is really good to get. And then late game, very late, we're still going to get Chainsaw. Even though they're not building tanky, there's no tanks on the enemy team, they're still going to have those base stats that is going to give them those physical defense protections. So we want to get Chainsaw. Very last item you'll build into this. So very similar, but we're going to be building Crit a lot sooner when we go for squishies. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the builds. I've been playing a lot of Rangers these past couple of weeks. This build is really nice for me. I've been liking this. I've messed around with other builds, but I've always, this is what I've been kind of coming back to and feeling very comfortable when I get these items online. So this is kind of my current go-to Ranger build for the Rangers plus Revenant. But that's going to be it for the video. Next video, we'll do the casters. If you guys like this kind of content, like the video, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.